talking to Coach Meyer earlier, she said with her team, they can't get rattled. They've been dealing with a lot of adversity due to injuries with their lineup, but if they stay connected, they have a good chance of winning. And with Clemson, they just need to continue to limit the two-pointers, guard and defend everything inside the arc.
Hank wins the tip against Pendande, and we are underway. The Clemson Tigers, who are 8-4 here at home, Fallon. They've had some big wins on this floor, and that's a promising start. Amari Robinson hits the free throw line, Jay.
And that's something Coach Butler, I know she's happy to see. When Robinson gets going early, it gives her teammates confidence as well.
And good active hands. Ruby Whitehorn disrupts the pass from Williams. First of two meetings between these two teams. They'll meet again in a couple of weeks down in South Florida. But they're both at a point in their seasons where they're pretty desperate for a W. Clemson's lost 3 straight at home. We mentioned how good they've been at home, but lately it's been a challenge. They lost on Sunday to North Carolina, a game they were in a pretty deep hole and nearly fought their way out before the Heels salted their way in the fourth. Underneath to Hannah Hank. Fourth-year senior.
And that was a great seal by Hank. Great entry pass by Robinson. They're tapping the floor. They're trying to get after it defensively to see if they can get another steal or deflection.
Hurricanes still looking for their first shot of the night. And it's not going to come on this possession. One more look at Hannah Hank here in this find.
And you see Robinson being defended well by Pendande, but a nice seal by Hank. She's able to get the easy lay-in.
Perpignan, crossover dribble pass Williams. Miami, meanwhile, they lost to Wake Forest on Sunday, and Coach Meyer unimpressed with their efforts. They played the first quarter in a fog, and they've gotten off to a slow start here in the first 90 seconds. That three-pointer long from Nunu Bradford.
And that was a great close out by Williams. Great contest on that three-point shot, making Bradford miss.
Coach Amanda Butler in her 5th season at Clemson led the Tigers to the NCAA tournament 2019. That was their first trip since 2002.
Coach Butler, she's done a fantastic job since she's been with this Clemson team program, but has had to weather some heavy storms in the last couple of seasons. But she's very excited about the team that she currently has and thinks that they can make a good run if given the opportunity come March.
And you're not going to have a more experienced player on the floor than Destiny Harden, graduate student in her 6th year of college basketball.
Yeah, Destiny Harden, I say, she is the piece or the motor that makes this Miami team go. And she's like that coach on the floor. So much experience after 6 seasons. But she plays like a coach and is very aggressive like you just saw with that right here.
And she just tied the game up single-handedly practically. All square at 4. Robinson from Perpignan, and she'll go to the line. That's our first whistle of the night.
You see right here, Robinson gets it. You know, Harden gets it, and she just goes straight to the bucket and has the nice finish and lay-in. And that's something that Miami, they were missing when she was out a few games, and she's back, really showing her presence and what she can do as a scorer for the squad.
See Coach Butler, 17th season as a head coach, spent a decade at the University of Florida, her alma mater, as the head coach prior to coming to Clemson. Amari Robinson at the line, 86% free throw shooter, misses the first. And our officials, by the way, tonight, Joseph Vasili, Rob Creech, and Teresa Stuck. Here, she set a school record this year, Fallon. She hit 37 straight free throws, so rare to see her miss one, but she goes 1 for 2.
No, that's not consistent. I don't know what else you could call it.
Layup miss, second chance Pendande. It's stuffed by Hank in a physical battle underneath. Boy, that's what playing in the low block's all about, right?
And that's what Coach Butler said. She spoke so highly of Hannah Hank. We were talking about, and we see the replay right here, Pendande tries to go in. Hannah Hank says, no, not on my watch. 2 blocks consecutively and forces the ball out of bounds on Pendande. Clemson regains the possession, but that just talks about her defensive prowess. Coach Butler talks about how tough she is. Something about these Australian players. They have a certain toughness that they bring when they come to play in the States.
Another foul on the defense. It's going to be called against Lazaria Spearman, who Coach Meyer just put into the game, replacing Pendande. They've had some success against the Tigers in Coach Meyer's time in South Florida. In fact, Miami has won 6 straight regular season games against Clemson, 5 straight here on the road at Little John Coliseum.
Yeah, they have been pretty dominant. And I don't think Clemson has beaten Miami at Little John since 2014. So that's a crazy stat line. I know Clemson's hungry to get a home win tonight.
And he'll stick with Clemson here. Spearman had her foot on the line. And a baseline inbounds will be triggered by Nunu Bradford. It's a Robinson.
And you see Miami in this man-to-man defense.
And look at the quickness from Perpignan. And last touch by the Tigers in Miami basketball.
And that was a good move by Perpignan. She just couldn't finish at the basket. Great defense by Miami to defend well as she was going to the rim, causing her to miss that shot.
Elijah Douglas replaces Bradford. Thinking about picking Jasmyne Roberts' pocket, but Roberts has been a real emergence for the Hurricanes in the second half of this season. Nice hanging jumper that time from Destiny Harden.
That was a good aggressive move. She made a decision. Her Coach Meyer is saying keep moving. That's going to be critical against Clemson. You can't be stagnant. You have to move the basketball or go straight to the basket aggressively if you're going to try and score against this Clemson defense.
They find Hank for a wing three, too strong. Robinson on the offensive glass, spins and floats it home.
And down in the paint, Robinson is just so consistent. If she gets rebounds, you can see she's getting her game going early in this one. She understands that she's going to have to be a scorer for her team.
Splitting the defense, Roberts. Jumper won't go. The freshman Whitehorn with the rebound from Detroit, Michigan. All the way, coast to coast. And draws the contact.
And she's an athletic player. She's going to take it. Right here we see Destiny Harden again, just drives hard with the floater J in the lane and knocks it down. And then Robinson just skies for that offensive rebound and putback. Big time play.
Last foul on Jasmyne Roberts. Her first, but 3 total on Miami here in the first quarter. Whitehorn at the line. She's 65% this year. This is the first.
Oh, and she's a player that Coach Butler gives so much praise and is so high on. She says she's a very coachable player as a freshman and just needs to learn her rhythm and understanding that she has to continue to move and play when she doesn't have the ball in her hands, find other ways to stay active.
Perpignan, a long 3 off the mark. Rebound snared by Williams. Williams into the lane. Good bounce pass low. Spearman the finish. That was pretty there by Jalea Williams, a sophomore.
I mean, the dribble, bounce, step into the paint with the drop-off pass. That was a nice pass by Williams.
And a turnover. Williams feeds it ahead in stride. Jasmyne Roberts in the transition game now for the Hurricanes.
And that is something that Clemson does not want Miami to do. They want to run and get fast break points. Right now, averaging about 12.6 a game in fast break points, but they like to run.
And they'll feed it ahead again. The deep ball's been there, and that time Ruby Whitehorn says you're going to have to earn it at the free throw line. But the Hurricanes, a 3-point lead midway at the first quarter on Military Appreciation Night here in Clemson. And for Coach Meyer, according to Coach Butler, she contends Coach Meyer still has an old bistro table from about 20 years ago in the lake house here in the Clemson area.
She said that.
Roberts misses the first free throw.
And Roberts has been a player for this Miami squad, has really picked it up, been in and out of the starting lineup. When Destiny Harden was out due to injury, Roberts really stepped up in her absence and still is trying to fill her role as a starter and continue to play and be aggressive offensively for this Miami squad.
And she made such an impact, Fallon, that when Harden came back, they felt like they couldn't take Roberts out of the starting lineup, so instead Carla Ariavets moved to the bench. A turnover on the Clemson end of the floor. They put in a couple of new faces. Get a look at Kiana Gaines along with Eno Inyang as Hannah Hank gets her first breather of the night.
And
look
Inyang,
at this.
Yeah, she's been a great post player for Clemson, coming off the bench, giving them solid minutes as a rebounder and a defender.
Clemson trying a little 2-2-1 press here. Hurricanes break it. Corner three. Good close by the Clemson defense. And a turnover underneath. It'll be Tiger basketball.
And that was a good idea by Williams, trying to thread the needle to Spearman. Just good defense to get a deflection by Clemson.
And right here, Miami applying a little three-quarter court press. Both these teams rank among the top 3 in the ACC in steals. They are aggressive. And how about that aggressive take by Nunu Bradford?
And that's what Coach Butler wants to see from Bradford, especially on the offensive end. Sometimes she thinks she settles for too many jump shots or three-point shots, but she's quick and she can get to the rim. She's a downhill player that can score in the paint if she gets the opportunity.
Cavender's first shot of the night is too strong. She's one of the most lethal three-point shooters in the ACC. Gaines, she'll take the lane. Nobody was there to stop her, but can't make the shot. Cavender steps inside, top of the key. Off the back iron, Bradford the board. Both these teams content to run right now and gliding down the left side of the key, Nunu Bradford.
Yeah, and that defense by Williams isn't going to work. Somebody has to stop that penetration. Bradford is just having her way the last 2 possessions and getting to the basket easily.
Williams working on Perpignan. Instead, it's a wing 3. No. A little one-handed snag of that board, and Amari Robinson draws the foul.
And you see on this last play, Nunu Bradford came with that Nunu right to the glass, and that was just too easy. She's like, let me do this one more time. And Williams got caught off guard by Bradford's quickness. But it has to be somebody else from Miami in that paint that stops that penetration. That's just too easy. 2 possessions in a row that Bradford was able to score and get to the bucket.
A given named Deja, but you won't find anyone on her team calling her anything but Nunu. Good elbow entry, Robinson. A touch off, and the board collected by Ariavets. Her first minutes. To Cavender, good close by Perpignan. Inyang deflects the pass, causes the turnover. Neither team taking very good care of the basketball right now.
They're not. But it just shows what I said about Inyang when she comes in. Good defensive player for this Clemson team.
And she's got a nice short corner touch as well.
Right, she's getting it going, getting some points. That's an extra to her game. I'm sure Coach Butler was happy to see that.
She's shooting over 50% from the floor. One and done possession for Miami. Kiana Gaines. A 6-0 run for the Tigers as they flip that 4-point deficit into a 2-point lead. Neither of these teams playing their best basketball entering tonight, as we touched on. Each lost on Sunday. How about that step back and spilling in? Bree Perpignan.
Yeah, Perpignan can do that. She can score if you give the opportunity, and she's a headsy player, especially off the dribble.
That now gives her 1,400 career points at that last basket. Elbow shot, no, second chance. Harden count the basket and the foul. I mean, as you said, she really is that straw that stirs the drink.
She is. She's the heart and soul for this Miami team, and that just shows some of her athleticism, great positioning to get that offensive board and put back, stays up in the air, doesn't even bring the basketball down, and then is able to draw the foul on Robinson as she completes or attempts to complete the three-point play.
Harden, a 73% free throw shooter. A lane violation, yep. New Bradford couldn't quite hang on long enough trying to box out the shooter. And it cost him.
It did. Gave Jasmyne Harden another opportunity, and she's able to capitalize on that second chance.
It's 9 first-quarter points for Jasmyne Harden. Hasn't missed a shot yet. By the way, it was a Cavender for Cavender substitution. Hannah in for Haley. You'd hardly notice if it weren't for the jersey number and the shoes.
Right.
Hannah wearing those bright pink shoes, Haley wearing the white ones. And Robinson a mismatch on Hannah. Ooh, Perpignan got her defender in the hair and connects on the jumper.
And that was a nice fake. You know, sometimes guards, especially in this day and age, they settle for that three-point shot, but a great heads-up play by Perpignan to do a head fake and shoot the mid-range jumper.
Final 30 seconds of the first quarter. Bradford with the steal. But she'll slow it down. Perpignan says not so fast, and they'll get her for traveling.
Right. Double team, great defense by Clemson to force that turnover by Harden. But Clemson unable to capitalize to try and see if they could get a score as this first quarter is winding down.
Robinson catches a breather here in the final 25 seconds or so. Clemson applying the press, trying to choose some clock. Anna Cavender gets it over. Maddie Ott checked in as a defensive sub. She's on the ball for Clemson. 5 seconds. Harden fires. 3, no, and that's the end of the first quarter. Clemson hit their final 3 shots, and they'll take a 3-point lead after the first 10 minutes. It's the Clemson Tigers, Miami Hurricanes, Military Appreciation Night. And so far, the home team looking all over the floor.
She was, and it's a big reason why Miami is still in this game with the score and just only being down 3. She was attacking, very aggressive. The hanging jump shot we just saw right there. And she was trying to get the flow for her team, being aggressive, showing the confidence and showing what this team needs to be to score.
And this is her 5th year at Miami, fans, so she's well known among Miami basketball fans, but if she wasn't, she made quite the impression in last year's ACC tournament. Practically willed the Hurricanes to the ACC championship game for the first time in school history.
Yeah, she just is a player. They had a tough loss to NC State in the championship game, but Miami battled, had some big wins in the tournament, and that was a key reason why they were able to play in March in the NCAA tournament.
After that bucket from Pendande, leads down to 1 for Clemson. 7 seconds to shoot. Whitehorn left it short. Hank the offensive board, and Whitehorn fading away from the lane. Good touch with one hand.
That was a great job. Both Hank as well as Whitehorn being active to get that offensive board, and Whitehorn with the finish.
Highest rated recruit in Clemson history. McDonald's All-American back in high school. Little trap down low. Pendande really turned it over. Lachey Dwyer came to her aid, and there's another turnover for Miami, that time on the travel.
Yeah, that time Hannah took too many steps when she was trying to make that move. Great job by Clemson to run her off that three-point line, which she likes to shoot. And instead, it causes another turnover. Clemson gets the possession.
Neither team has hit a 3 so far tonight. That was the problem for Miami in their loss to Wake. They gave up 8, hit only 1. In the game they lost by 3. Maddie Ott lets a long-range fire go. No, but Hank on the rebound. She's fouled. That'll be 2 free throws for Clemson.
We just talked about Hank's toughness. She's going to battle down there, and Coach Butler knows rebounding is what gets her going offensively. If she rebounds well, it's a good chance that it's going to give her the confidence to try and score and get good looks, easy buckets. And that's an easy call right there. Dwyer comes in from behind and hacks her as she tries to go back up.
So first foul on Dwyer. Michaela Elmore subs in for Eno Inyang. Hank misses the first free throw Coach Butler, the praise was effusive when she was talking about Hannah Hank and what she's meant to this program, the work she's put in.
Yeah, she spoke a lot of great words about Hank, and you know, we talked about if she would come back for another season, especially, you know, during the time during the pandemic and not being able to go back home to visit her family. I think she's only been back home since she's been at Clemson maybe 3 times in her career. So decisions have to be made, but one thing's for sure, Coach Butler loves Hannah Hank as a person and what she's contributed to this program as a player.
And Lachey Dwyer's wild shot is short. Quick trip for Miami. Here come the Tigers again, leading by 4. This would extend their largest lead. They get a bucket here. And they don't. Robinson couldn't finish down low.
Great defense by Harden and then help defense by Pendande.
Cavender, a 3-ball. Hannah Cavender. Cash from beyond the arc. That was one of the reasons that Coach Meyer was so eager to bring in the Cavenders. They are shot makers.
They are, and she talked about Hannah's play. It's been better the last few games, but a big-time shot by Elmore coming right back from the corner with a 3 of her own.
Shooting below 30% from 3 this year, Fallon. Didn't look like it on that stroke.
You see right here, this pass out. Pinion sees Elmore in the corner, and she knocks down the 3. It was a great pass. Even better corner 3 finish.
A whole bunch of subs for the Hurricanes as Harden, area vets, and Dwyer and Pendande all come to the sideline. That last foul on Brie Perpignan, that's her first. Baseline inbounds for the Canes. Spearman from the free throw line. Robinson's got the board. No communication issues maybe for Miami defensively. Looks like they've recovered. And this is the 2-3 zone for the Canes.
Yeah, I think they were trying to get everybody on track, whether they were in zone or man.
But they get the stop. Here's Haley Cavender to her twin sister Hannah. Back to Haley. I think they've done that a time or 2. Ooh, nice Euro step.
Hannah came ready to play tonight, and 2 big shots the last few possessions for Hannah Cavender.
Well, we previewed Haley going into the game because Haley, the leading scorer for the Hurricanes, averaging 13 a night, but it's Hannah who's already got 5 points tonight. That's above her season average of 4. She hasn't gotten quite the playing time this season she got last year at Fresno State. But she's been a boost for the Canes in the first half. Good strip by Spearman. Fed ahead. Roberts, the dump off. And saved. And that's going to be a backcourt violation.
Yeah, Williams trying to make a judgment call and was going to let it go, thinking she was saving in the backcourt, but she had to get it before it crossed. Another turnover for Miami, and they're trying to get it going, seemingly making some runs, especially on the offensive end. We talked about Hannah Cavender stepping up the last few possessions and knocking down some big shots, but this is a team that has 6 underclassmen that get a lot of playing time. Right now, 2 of those underclassmen are out in Oldacre as well as Lattimore, but Williams, sophomore, Roberts, a sophomore. You just look at this squad. If you want to play as an underclassman right away, Miami is a program where you can do it.
And that doesn't include Chisa Okafor, who's been out the whole season. Another post who's unavailable for Miami. And then you get Mulena Johnson City Baba.
Right.
She's not available either. So Miami is extremely thin at the post compared to what they had at the start of the season.
They have, and Coach Meyer understands she's going to have to make some adjustments, and is making it tonight. Playing small ball, but doing what she can and using the post players she has on her roster currently and using them effectively.
Yeah, they do have, she does have at least one post player down there, Lazaria Spearman. Some serious length for the freshman. And count the basket for Amari Robinson, finishing through the contact. Last foul's on Spearman. That's her second. That's now 2 Hurricanes and 2 fouls. Jasmyne Roberts also with the pair.
And that can't happen. Early foul trouble, especially with the depleted post presence for Miami. But Robinson was just extremely aggressive and made a big play down in the paint.
One foul shot for Amari Robinson.
So Robinson trying to extend Clemson's lead with a 3-point play. She's already got 7 points, 5 boards. Not even halfway through the second quarter. And Bradford wins the battle on the glass and bounces it off the foot of Harden. And now it's turnover. Here come the Cavender twins.
Yeah, the refs missed that call. It went right off the Miami player's foot. They didn't stop play.
Williams, they're going to let her shoot the 3. And a Cavender with a ball screen. Williams baseline. Harden kick out. She is struggling from beyond the arc, Fallon. She's missed her last 19 3-pointers. That's not her bread and butter right now.
It's not, but that hasn't been working for her all game. It's been her mid-range, her aggressiveness, and driving to the basket. So you have to stick with what works. But she had an open look, decided to take it, unfortunately just missed it.
And so far, Harden scoreless in the second quarter after putting up 9 in the first 10 minutes. Hank saw some daylight, passes up to Perpignan, gets a step on Pendande. Gaines over to Bradford, 7 seconds to shoot. It's Gaines, top of the arc. Too strong, batted out. Second chance for Clemson. Perpignan, she dribbles it.
Now she can knock it down. You leave her wide open. Williams was late on that closeout. Perpignan able to knock it down, and Clemson is hyped. Hitting the floor again, trying to get after it defensively.
Largest lead of the night. 7-point edge. Will Miami respond? They get into the lane. Harden, last-second pass, and the loose ball in the hands of Perpignan. Bradford breaking out, and a reach-in foul. Going to be on Pendande.
Pendande knew her teammates weren't back on transition defense, decided to commit the foul to stop the play. And now you have Clemson getting another opportunity at the basket. But we see this play by Perpignan. She knocks the 3 down. All 9 turnovers for Miami, and Clemson's being able to capitalize, scoring 9 points off of those turnovers, what we just saw from that stat line. But it's just pretty amazing. We know that these teams get after it defensively, but you have to limit those turnovers. It's going to be so important, and it could be costly, because I think this is a game that could go down the wire.
Clemson with the ball out of the timeout after that foul on Pendande. First of 2 meetings between the Tigers and the Hurricanes. Clemson looking to snap a 3-game losing streak at home. And that ball somehow kept in bounds. Williams stepping on the gas to the lane, and a foul.
And that was a great finish. I mean, the IQ level for Williams to dribble that ball and keep it in her right so she couldn't get it stolen from Perpignan, and then switches back to her left with the finish. Heads up play by Williams, finishes and draws the foul on Hank.
And more than 2/3 of Miami's points have come in the paint, Fallon. That's been a strength for this team. And, you know, they may lack that post presence, but they have such quickness at their guard spot, not to mention they can make plays in transition, to where it's really been a focal point of their offense.
Right, and Coach Butler said that. That was on the scouting report. She's trying to limit the number of 2s Miami scores, but they are going to the basket and going hard and not settling for the 3-point shot.
And right now, Coach Meyer complaining that they assessed the foul to Bree Perpignan and that it should have been on Hannah Hank, and the referee said no, they called it on Perpignan. I think Coach Meyer's trying to get Hank into some foul trouble here because she can be a problem. But I think Coach Meyer's got a point.
She does, and it was on the shot. Hank was in the paint when Williams was going up with that left and tried to block it, but instead hits the hand and arm. And that's an easy call for the foul. I don't know how the ref missed it, but maybe they saw something differently from Perpignan from behind.
And so they have changed it. It is going to be a foul on Hannah Hank.
Sometimes you just have to argue your point, but we see it right here. Well, it looks like Perpignan missed, but it was all Hannah Hank on that one going up.
Well, that's her first personal, so still a long way to get her to get to the bench, but Coach Meyer not.
Gonna make sure she keeps the refs in check. Get the call right.
Hannah Hank will take a seat. Jalea Williams, and she's kind of had her play slip just a smidge here over the last month. She was so productive, over 10 points a game those first dozen games. But she hasn't been taking as many shots in the last month or so, and therefore that scoring's gone down. But she's had a balanced effort tonight. 3 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. And the lead down to 4. Clemson breaks the press, and Gaines will curl out. Likes the matchup on Hannah Cavender. Offensive rebound, Yang. And second chance points for the Tigers. She's a critical presence in their post, especially with Hank on the bench.
She is, but she's capable of coming off of that bench and giving you some easy buckets because she's such a good rebounder that she gives herself easy opportunities at the basket on the offensive end.
And they really missed her last Thursday night in their loss against Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Pendande, free throw line, connects.
She can knock that down. Pendande, that's her second free throw line J today, so she's confident in shooting that shot. And if Clemson continues to leave her open, that's going to be money in the bank.
She's got 4 points. Yang again on the offensive pass. This time she's stuffed by Pendande.
That was a great job by Pendande, keeping her hands straight up, getting that deflection.
Ooh, nice firm pass from Cavender. And Pendande is going to go to the line. That foul on Robinson. One more look on the defensive end, Fallon. How about this rejection?
Now, that was a great job. You see Pendande keeping her hands straight up and making that difficult for Yang to go back up, and causes the block, gets her team on the run, and runs the floor well, gets the pass, gets rewarded, and then is now at the free throw line for 2 shots. Coach Meyer was talking about Pendande's play the last few games, and she's been one of the most consistent players for this team, has increased her scoring, but has played pretty well the last 3 or 4 games for Miami.
It's the second foul on Amari Robinson, by the way. Pendande hits 1 of 2. And a press here for Miami. Hank in the backcourt. And they finally get it to Perpignan. Whitehorn nearly has it stripped.
Yeah,
that's going to be a travel, yep.
I was waiting for them to call it. I was like, oh, man, she took a few steps. Those were those NBA steps on that play.
Well, and Coach Butler was candid. She's trying to get Ruby to go from being a good player to a great player. Just a true freshman, but so much talent and ability. She was Miss Basketball in Michigan at Detroit Edison High School. In fact, she was the 4th straight Miss Basketball in Michigan from her high school. Jasmyne Harden.
That was a smooth-looking shot, and she just made it look easy from the baseline. Hits that J. And you see it right here. A nice pass by Hannah right to Destiny, and Destiny's able to knock down that baseline J. They're setting up this defense, and anytime Miami scores, they're setting up their full-court press. They're trying to slow Clemson down or see if they can get an easy steal or deflection.
That was a delay of game warning, by the way, on Lola Pendande. Elijah Douglas back on the floor for Clemson, and she draws a foul. Haley Cavender reaching in. First foul on Haley Cavender.
Right now, you see Douglas. She's a quick player and a lefty, so you have to be prepared to play her on that scouting report when she's dribbling.
Hurricanes so far in this second quarter, they've hit 6 of 9 shots.
Yeah, no, they're being aggressive and play up Pendande running down the court. Miami is really pushing it. We saw Harden score some more points. She was kind of quiet to start the second quarter, but seemingly getting her rhythm back.
Clemson in the bonus. And Douglas hits both free throws. Now the press coming from Clemson. As we mentioned, both these teams ranked 2nd and 3rd in the ACC in steals, averaging more than 10 per night. They will apply pressure. That's what leads to a lot of their offense.
Turning defense into offense, and that's the way to get going.
And Pendande hit hard from behind. She takes off the eye mask. Foul's going to be on Eno Inyang.
That was a good set play by Miami. You see Hannah Cavender gives it to Jasmyne Harden, and Harden makes the nice drop pass to Pendande. She gets hit in the face, like you said.
I think she needs a towel here, wipe off some of the sweat off the mask.
Yeah, that mask gets hot underneath there. I bet it gets foggy, and she's continuing to play through it.
Did you ever have to wear one of those?
No, thank goodness I did not. Seems difficult. I wouldn't want anything on my face while I'm playing, but if you got to play that way, that's how you have to play.
He's sitting on the bench, I can promise you that. So under 2 minutes to go here. It's been a nip and tuck first half so far. Clemson has led by as many as 7. But the Hurricanes have chewed into that lead here. And with a free throw from Pendande. Just over 70% on the year from the free throw line. Doesn't get the roll. And Whitehorn seizes the rebound. Ooh, nice behind the back move. Weaving through and getting the lay-in.
And that's what she's capable of doing. She's an athletic player, can handle the ball well for her size, coast to coast. That's not great defense by Miami, but a big-time play by Whitehorn.
That's some nifty ball handling there as well. Williams pulls the trigger on a 3. That's way off to the right. Douglas, the long rebound. Clemson trying to reestablish that lead.
And Williams was open for a reason. Clemson's playing off of her because they want her to shoot that shot.
That three-pointer way off. Haley Cavender steps on the brakes. Pulls the trigger on a 3. Around and out. Inyang the rebound as we approach the final minute of the first half.
These teams have been battling on both ends, really getting after it. Hard-fought game so far in this one.
And a foul off the ball. Harden and Hank with contact, and they're going to call Harden on the foul.
And Coach Myers telling me, yeah, that was a foul. That was a bump. But that's how hard Jasmyne Harden, she plays that way. She's tough. She'll defend anybody on the floor. Probably play or defend all 5 positions. But she's a tough-nosed player, and so is Hannah Hank.
And what hurts there for Miami is because you're in the bonus, that little hip check leads to 2 free throws for Hannah Hank.
Right.
It's the first. Hank now 2 of 3 at the free throw line tonight. Clemson as a team just 5 of 10 though. 5 of 11. And last touched by Clemson. I think the Miami bench was pleading for an over-the-back call.
Right. But it was a good decision by Haley Cavender not to chase after that basketball, just to let it go out of bounds.
Clemson trying to make this a 1-possession game. Area vets around to Harden. Kane's milking some clock here on some perimeter rotation. Ooh, nice side pocket pass, then the high-low entry. Pendande at the end of the shot clock gets it to go.
That was a great job. She regathered herself after Jasmyne Harden gave her a tough pass and was able to finish in the paint. Pendande has been excellent in this first half for Miami.
8 points all in the second quarter. Final seconds, Bradford near the buzzer, won't fall, and that ends the first half. The Hurricanes trailed by as many as 7 in the second quarter, but they've cut it to 3 at the break.
Well, these teams are battling it out. 3-point game going into halftime. Miami was down at one point by 8, but has climbed back, and they've made this a game. We said it's going to be close and tight, a defensive game between these two.
Harden, the only player in double figures on either side with 11. Clemson had 8 different players score in the first 20 minutes. They had a nice balanced attack. And they start with the basketball to begin the third quarter. Wiley Ballard alongside Fallon Stokes. Happy to have you with us on this Thursday night, the second half of the second game of our ACC doubleheader. And speaking of double, that was a double dribble there by 22, Ruby Whitehorn.
Yeah, that was good pressure by Miami. When she had the ball, they doubled. She didn't know what to do and double dribbled in the process. Early turnover for Clemson to start this second half.
Good spin by Williams to break the press. You mentioned Haley Cavender trying to get her going, their leading scorer. It's Williams. Off the mark attempt from the elbow.
Yeah, that was a tough shot. She was off on that jumper, trying to go into the lane rather than settling for that three-point shot. But with Haley Cavender, even though we said she's 0 for 3 right now in this game, we know that they scouted. She was in the scouting report, but the good thing for her is that she continues to play the game and the game plan for Miami. Hasn't forced shots and hasn't tried to do too much to try and score points.
Well, she's impacted the game in other ways. She's Miami's leading rebounder with 5 tonight.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's the way you can impact the game if you're not scoring. You find other ways to do it. And Haley's taking advantage by rebounding well for her team early in this one.
It's the second foul on Hannah Hank. Puts Pendande at the line. And speaking of rebounding, that's also a concern for Miami in the second half. Clemson, 10 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
Led to 12 second chance points in the first half.
Well, that's an easy fix. It's called boxing out. So you need to find a player, put a body on them. That's just too easy. You don't want to give any team that many offensive rebounds or second chance opportunities because they're going to capitalize on some of them, and Clemson has done that tonight.
Pendande now in double figures. And the lead down to 1. We've had 4 lead changes in this one, but for the most part, Clemson's been the team out in front. They have led for all but about 2.5 minutes of this one. Three-pointer Bradford is short and last touched by Whitehorn. I think she thinks Harden's fingertips touched it. So do those guys.
But I love the straight face by Harden. You don't see anything from her. She's just like, give me the basketball so I can inbound it.
And the 2-2-1 press from Clemson.
Back with this pressure, trying to slow Miami down, get some time off that shot clock.
Both these teams pride themselves in their ability to create turnovers and turn those turnovers into points. Three-pointer, bottoms.
She's been quiet tonight, but Jasmyne Roberts is a player that can score and score in bunches. In Miami's win against Virginia Tech, she had her career high in that game, and she was pretty dominant. She could shoot the three. She could take you inside. She's a talented sophomore for Miami.
And Miami's first lead since about midway in the first quarter. Roberts hangs, hits.
She's a player that can go get a bucket, and that's something that Coach Meyer likes. And she's aggressive, like I said, really stepped up in Destiny Harden's absence, and now has still earned a spot to remain in the starting lineup for Miami.
A 7-0 run out of the gate for Miami in this second half. Clemson yet to score in the third quarter. Whitehorn trying to change that. No roll. Robinson, the offensive glass. Well, a Herculean effort that time.
Yeah, that was a big-time effort, and Robinson was looking for that foul. Overplay by Whitehorn, and Destiny Harden makes her pay with a smooth baseline J.
9-0 run for the Hurricanes. They've hit their last 3 shots, and a timeout called on the floor. Coach Butler's got to huddle her team together. That's not what they drew up in the locker room at halftime.
Yeah,
7:39 on the clock. The Hurricanes land the first blow of the second half.
It's bow time. That's not a phone in your pocket.
Been the mainstay, but a lot of other pieces either new to the program or stepping into new roles this year. And
right, and are very young. A lot of underclassmen on this team. And look at that defense by Destiny Harden. Get a 5-second count because she defended very well and denied Nunu Bradford. She couldn't get that basketball. But we talk about her leadership. Defensively, Miami is a solid defensive team. It's their bread and butter and how they're able to get opportunities on the offensive end.
And a 5-second call out of a Clemson timeout, not what the Tigers had in mind.
No.
Trying to stunt this 9-0 Miami run. Haley Cavender, still only 3 shots tonight. Distributes and a solid pass.
But that's just a smart, cerebral player. She doesn't have to score. She knows how to find other ways to get her teammates involved and to remain active for this team. Great dime pass, drop pass to Roberts for the easy bucket.
It's been a different Hurricane every quarter. In the first quarter, it was Harden with 9 points. In the second quarter, Pendande had 8. And here in the third, 11-0 run, 7 of those points belong to Jasmyne Roberts.
That just tells you the talent this Miami team has. They can score.
Perpignan can't get the roll. The Tigers in a dreadful drought now coming out of the halftime. Cavender picks her spot. Can't get the roll off the glass.
But that was like that drill we saw Miami doing in that shoot-around. I mean, they just penetrating and kicking to find the open man.
And Pendande reaches in and tags Kiana Gaines.
And that was a good move by Gaines, trying to be aggressive, going to the basket, drawing a foul, especially with Clemson. And maybe they can get that first start at the free throw line.
One thing to monitor for Miami, they did commit 10 fouls in the first half. That's the 3rd foul on Pendande as Gaines hits her first free throw, just a 44% free throw shooter this year. That's her first point of the night. Offensive board, Robinson, oh, she missed the bunny.
And that's tough, and you can see the frustration, Hannah Hank defending and fouls Destiny Harden. That's her 3rd. And you see right here, Robinson misses the shot. Hannah Hank inadvertently bumps into Harden. Harden, good acting job. I think she kind of daps up the ref for the call.
Between that and then the controversy in the out-of-bounds play. They got a good rapport going right now. Williams turns it over. Loose ball. Chaos on the floor. And Spearman. What helps to have that height, doesn't it?
It does. And that athleticism, the way she was able to jump up and snatch that basketball and was able to finish something that Coach Meyer has been looking for the freshman in Spearman, and she's able to complete that play.
9-point lead, largest for either side tonight. Canes have hit 5 of their last 6 field goals. The Tigers 0 for 4 this half with 2 turnovers. Or beg your pardon, 0 for 6. Now make it 0 for 7. And Perpignan finally the first field goal for the Tigers in this 3rd quarter.
And that was the way to be active, consistent. Almost a nice high-flying finish by Spearman, showing that athleticism again on the lob. But Perpignan was able to knock down that J, put some points on the board for Clemson on that last possession.
First-year Tiger, a transfer from Elon. Finds Gaines in the low block, and she'll go to the line again.
And that's something that Spearman could not do. She has the height advantage, especially going and picks up her 3rd foul. And Miami already have both of their post players with 3 fouls in foul trouble and have to make some tough decisions about lineups. So right now, Spearman's staying in the game.
As we noted earlier, this is a Miami post position that has been hit hard by injury. Kyla Oldacre not here tonight. Natasha Lattimore. Mulena Sitababa not here either. And Gaines, this is the free throw. It's not her strength.
Yeah, she's not a great free throw shooter, so it's not a terrible foul, but just the positioning, especially with Spearman having the height advantage over Gaines, she should have just stayed straight up.
Clemson's hit 7 of 15 free throws tonight. As a team, they shoot over 70% this year, but they've struggled so far this evening.
And in a game like this one, when you're trying to claw back into it and it's still close, you got to knock down free throws. Clemson coming back with this full court pressure, but Miami breaks it pretty easy.
Harden at the elbow. That's 2.
I mean, it's like she's a bucket, especially in that mid-range area. If she gets there and gets to her spot, it's money.
Miami's hit 6 of their last 8, partially blocked by Spearman, the shot from Whitehorn. And Harden steps on the sideline.
I don't think she's going to dap the ref up this time, but he's towing that line, trying to make that catch, and steps out of bounds inadvertently.
And Coach Myers saying she was doing her best tight-roping job. But either way, it'll be Clemson basketball when we return to Littlejohn.
But they have to attack, and that's their bread and butter. When they play hard, attack, especially on the defensive end, get deflections, it turns into offense for them as well, just like Miami. So they need to go back to what works.
So Clemson with the basketball out of the timeout. Harden looking for a call, didn't get it. Whitehorn.
And that's a shot Whitehorn has to take. She's wide open. They're leaving her open, but she's capable of scoring.
Amari Robinson, a tough left-hand scoop.
Against 3 Miami defenders in the paint. That would be tough against anybody, and she couldn't finish it.
I think we're confident this time next year Ruby Whitehorn is pulling the trigger on that shot.
Well, I'm sure Coach Butler wasn't to pull the trigger tonight.
Yes. Trying to get her to go from good to great. Down low, Spearman playing with 3 fouls out there.
That was good defense by Elmore to get back.
Clemson just 1 for 10 from the floor in this third quarter. And it won't fall. 1 for 11.
And that's tough. That was a good look by Amari Robinson and just couldn't get it to fall. Bounces about 3 times around that basket and just would not drop.
Jalea Williams heads to the bench. Carla Erjevets, graduate student from Zagreb, Croatia. Onto the floor, receives the inbound pass. Clemson applying some pressure. The Hurricanes break it. Hannah Cavender gets a step past Robinson, crashes hard into the stanchion behind the basket. A battle for the ball and a jump ball. And
yeah, she hit that basket pretty hard going out of bounds. Hannah Cavender did. Gets back up, still in the game, okay. That was a hard fall, makes a tough drive, and then you see these teams really battling for that rebound. Roberts and Whitehorn both on the floor on the tie-up.
So Clemson with the arrow. Trying to put a dent in this Miami lead.
Miami in this zone defense right now. Now a matchup man-to-man. But making it difficult for Clemson to figure out what to do offensively.
And that's going to be a foul on Destiny Harden. That's her third. And while things don't look good for Clemson right now, you do have some pretty significant players for Miami now with 3 fouls and still over 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
You see Coach Meyer coming back with Haley Cavender taking Destiny Harden out. She understands how important Harden is to this team, and she knows that she's going to need her in the fourth quarter.
Inyang off the inbounds play. Can't finish the layup. And Inyang looking for the tie-up. Instead, she's called for the foul.
And that was a good rebound by Spearman. She got up and got that rebound. Held it tight even though she brought the basketball down. That's a no-no for a post player, especially with her size, but able to get away and draw the foul.
Clemson's going to press. Spearman, baseball pass across the court. And Hannah Cavender guides it across into the half court.
See if Miami can get something going. Clemson in this zone defense is 2-3.
And Miami's got their shooters on the floor in the Cavender twins. That was one of the concerns for Coach Myers against the 2-3. They got to find players who can shoot. And Jasmyne Roberts continuing that trend. She's been the player in the third quarter for Miami.
She has, and that was a great decision. She decided, knew that that area was open for her and decided to take that shot and knock it down. And you see Miami really pushing the basketball and finding the gaps in this zone.
And Haley Cavender is on the board, her first points of the night, and it gives Miami their largest lead of the game at a dozen.
Clemson, they have to make adjustments in that 2-3 zone. Miami is finding the opening, and it's open, wide open around that free throw line.
One more look at the shot from Haley Cavender. And you talked about she's been opportunistic.
And she understands it's a hot spot right now around that free throw line because nobody is defending in the zone. And we saw Roberts do it on the previous possession, and then Haley was like, well, let me get my try and get some points on the board, and she's able to capitalize with the easy 2.
Officiating crew led by Joseph Vasili, trying to sort things out. Coach Butler trying to find a way to snap this 3-minute scoring drought now for Clemson. They led by 7 down the midpoint of the second quarter. They now trail by 12, and a turnover for the Tigers.
And it's just been a different game. That was a great job by Hannah Cavender. She saw Roberts was defending Gaines, but comes over for the double team, and Gaines turns the ball over, getting caught up in the double.
So far in the third quarter, Fallon, Clemson's turned the ball over 4 times, and they have missed 12 of their 13 shots.
And Miami is just having their way right now, really making Clemson work for it, but finding the holes in this zone. Once again,
Jasmyne Roberts sounds like a broken record here. She has 11 points in the third quarter.
You got to feed the person. Whoever's around that free throw line, Miami is feeding it to them, and the players are capitalizing.
And nothing going right for the Tigers right now. 4-on-2. Cavender, a hesitation. Off to her sister, Haley. And they're saying that's off of Haley Cavender, who's responding to that call.
She's trying to plead her case. She's like, that's on Perpignan, not me.
It's kind of the opposite of the game that Clemson experienced on Sunday in this gym. Three-pointer Chuck, and Nunu Bradford buries it.
Clemson needs some scoring, and that was a big-time shot. Very confident, or a lot of confidence in Bradford, and she's able to knock that corner 3 down.
Just getting it down to single digits would mean a lot. But Jasmyne Roberts, she can't miss right now.
I mean, this is a clinic. If it's any way to expose the 2-3 zone or the zone Clemson's playing right now, Miami has done it, and it's been around that free throw line. They have capitalized with about 4 scores from that area.
Robinson, layup, no. Second chance, Gaines comes soaring in. She can't finish it. Third look at it, she got it.
And that's the way to give effort. Gaines has been giving effort all game long. Sometimes hadn't seen the results from that effort, but that was a big-time play on that offensive putback.
But it was Clemson who authored a 17-0 run in the third quarter to get back into the game on Sunday. Haley Cavender's 3, too strong. Battle for the board.
Great
and
hustle.
last touched by Clemson, Miami basketball.
And that's the way you have to compete. You know, Coach Meyer has been saying, especially from Spearman, she's been looking for that type of consistency and hustle. She's a freshman trying to get it together, but she has had a solid game this evening for Miami, hustling, especially with Pendande with the 3 fouls, giving Coach Meyer and Miami some good, solid minutes.
Roberts. Off to area vets. Final seconds of the third quarter. Area vets, no. Bradford's going to have to heave it at the horn from midcourt. Won't fall, and Miami with a 23-point third quarter will take an 11-point edge to the fourth. And Jasmyne Roberts, 13 points in the third quarter, 6 of 7.
Showed us an array of that mid-range game, the 3 right there, but we see her with the pull-up in transition. She's able to knock it down. Easy bucket from the nice pass by Hannah Cavender in the paint. But what Miami was able to do in that third quarter to capitalize, not only was it Roberts, but finding the holes, especially at that free throw line in Clemson's zone defense. That 2-3 zone was wide open around the free throw line, and Miami capitalized, but especially Jasmyne Roberts in that third quarter.
One of the big changes, too, for Clemson, they still got 5 offensive rebounds in that third quarter. They got 15 in the game, but only 4 second-chance points off those rebounds. That really crushed Miami early. Clemson led this game 27-20 at around the mid-mark of the second quarter. Miami trimmed it to 3 at the half and then went on an 11-0 run to start the third quarter.
Yeah, that's all about finishing, especially when you're able to get second chance points. Those opportunities are rare. So you have to capitalize, and unfortunately, Clemson was not able to do that in the third quarter like they were able to do in the first half.
And the Tigers, who have been just automatic here on their home floor, they get a steal to begin the fourth quarter as Miami was at the end of the shot clock. They're in danger of dropping their 4th straight game at home after starting the season 8-1. Three-pointer for Amari Robinson. She says, not so fast. We've still got a whole other quarter to play.
And she is a tough player, has continued to battle even though she hasn't seen the basketball fall for her, especially in that third quarter. But she's tough. She's going to continue to battle, and hopefully her teammates follow suit.
She did not score in the third quarter. A good sign for Clemson. Hannah Cavender trying to answer a touch too strong. And a whistle, and looks like it's going to be a foul against Miami. It's going to be on.
Yeah, that was a tough call. You see, Roberts was really upset. She was battling with Hannah Hanks. And they end up calling the foul on Miami. But these teams are hustling. Miami trying to continue to keep that momentum they had in the third quarter.
They did not call it a foul.
Oh.
I think they called maybe. Yeah, so either way, Pendande is getting looked here. She had some contact. Actually, it says inadvertent whistle or what there, but.
And that's the second time she's been hit in her face, especially she's wearing that mask as protection. And you see Robinson goes in hard. And Pendande takes the hit right to the face, even with the mask around the eye, nose area. That's been tough. It's hard enough that she has to play with the mask. But she wears it for protection, and then to continue to get hit in the face. She's been hit twice tonight. That's also tough.
That mask is just begging for some type of social media hashtag, right?
Like a superhero. And that was a good call right there. That was too easy of a call for the ref to make. You see Hannah Cavender getting a little frustrated, trying to get away from that pressure and that double team, and extends that arm. And Bradford falls straight to the floor. Maybe a little bit of an acting job, but gets the ref's attention to call that offensive foul.
Well, she's done so many things for Clemson this year, just besides scoring, especially in the defensive end. She's third in the ACC in steals and drawing a big charge there. And now Clemson, chance to trim this lead a little further. And what a pass. Perpignan penetrates and then dumps off to Robinson as she points at her teammate for that low-to-low pass.
Yeah, that was a big-time play by Perpignan. She was able to draw the defense that opened up Robinson on the opposite side of the basket and gives her the dime pass for the easy lane.
Tiger crowd coming alive here. Pendande, good look, won't fall. Robinson snares the rebound.
And right now, what we thought was an increasing lead for Miami has now dwindled down to 7.
Bradford chews away the screen from Robinson. She'll go right. Nunu to the hole. And a jump ball. Coach Meyer thinking it should have been a travel.
Yeah, it looked like it. It was good defense, but the tie-up in the air, they called a jump ball. Miami holding on to this 6-point lead.
Still only 7 to shoot. Hank in the lane. Robinson falling away off the mark on that right-handed hook. Area vets. Jasmyne Roberts, 13 points in the third quarter. Miami yet to score in this fourth. Aggressive entry. There are a bunch of Tigers in the way there. It's swatted away by Robinson.
Yeah, that was a tough entry pass. Pendande making the cut. Harden sees her, But Clemson was able to get a deflection, and you see it right here. She telegraphs the pass too easy. Robinson saw it and is able to get the deflection. But Miami still has the possession.
Canes can't pill three on the curl. Area vets, 5 to shoot. Harden taking herself, off-balance jumper, connecting.
That's a big time shot. She has that leaning, fading J in her back pocket.
That's 17 for Harden. Here come the Canes after the quick miss from Clemson. And right to Ruby Whitehorn.
Yeah, I guess Roberts didn't see Whitehorn getting back on defense after she missed a shot, but good hustle play by Whitehorn to get that steal.
The lead's been as large as 11 for Miami. It's now at 8. Robinson against Pendande. Unfriendly roll. Hank, the offensive rebound, falls in her lap. Ooh, Nudu Bradford behind the back. Hip pocket. Hank 3. Got it. Hannah Hank.
And that's a big-time play. Way to be unselfish for Bradford. It looked like she had an opening in that lane, and she kept going after the behind-the-back dribble, but decides to pass it to her teammate, Hank, who knocks down the corner 3.
It's down to 5, an 8-2 run here in the fourth quarter. Off-balance shot is short. Nobody boxes out Roberts. And the foul's going to be against Hannah Hank. That's 4 on Hank. One more look at the offensive end and what Hank did. Yep.
On Pendande, and then makes this nice pass to Hank, who is open. Destiny Harden goes in a little too deep, trying to help to stop the penetration of Bradford, and she makes the right decision in passing out to Hank, who's able to knock down the 3.
So Hank with 4 fouls, she'll go to the bench, and Coach Butler going to try and thread the needle here. How long can she wait before bringing her back in? Largely depends on how Eno Enyang fares.
Right, and Enyang has been a great asset to have off of Clemson's bench for Coach Butler. When she comes in, she gives you good, solid minutes. She defends well and rebounds. And she can score if she's around that paint for easy putbacks, but you're losing an outside shooter. We just saw what Hannah Hank can contribute to this team, how she can knock down 3s. So that's a tough loss, but I don't see her out of the game for too long.
Roberts will take a seat after making the second free throw. Haley Cavender returns for Miami. 6-point lead, 6 minutes to play. Miami looking for their 6th straight win here at Littlejohn Coliseum. Whitehorn has it jarred loose, gets it over to Bradford. Tied up. Curling in. What a pass from the freshman to Amari Robinson, the senior, and it's down to 4.
And that was a great pass, but that just shows you Clemson is never out of a game at home. They play well at home, even during this time where they're on this 3-game losing streak, but they really compete. And you're seeing it tonight. This is not going to be an easy win that Miami can steal on the road.
Lola Pendande with a crowd quieting bucket. And a nice pass from Area Vets. That's her 3rd assist in limited playing time. Amari Robinson answers right back. Coach Meyer wants a timeout.
This is crazy. We saw the momentum in the 3rd quarter with Miami looking like they were going to run away with it, and then it just turns its head. And you see Clemson really competing in the 4th.
This has been some kind of second half. The Tigers roaring back in the 4th quarter. We'll step aside. Back in a moment.
Steal that Whitehorn was able to get. And then this double team right here, another steal by Bradford. Clemson really making a run and capitalizing on these double teams. That's setting up deflections and getting them opportunities on the offensive end and steals. Really protecting the paint with 2 blocks on Pendande. And then we're going to turn it around and just see how they have turned it up in the 4th. Big time 3 by Robinson. Great pass by Pendande to Robinson. And we talk about this Bradford pass. Before Hannah Hank had to go to the bench with her 4th foul, she was able to knock down that 3. And another one by Robinson. Clemson has been dominant in the 4th.
Miami trailed by 3 at the half. Led by 11 at the start of the fourth quarter after outscoring Clemson 23-9 in the third quarter. And in the first 5 minutes of the fourth, Clemson has outscored Miami 13-5.
Hey, this is a game of runs, and
yes,
we're seeing
it is.
We said this was going to be a close game going down to the wire. Both of these teams really competing, and this is what the ACC is all about. It's the competition, the level of the competition, and this is why I really believe that this is the best women's conference in basketball right now.
Destiny Harden's jumper won't fall. It was the Jasmyne Roberts show with 13 points in the third quarter. Here in the fourth, Amari Robinson, 10 points already, 4 of 6, 5 in white for the Tigers. She's currently set up in the far corner. Bradford heads up to the hoop, spinning, and a travel call.
It was one before that, and Coach Meyer was yelling that they missed on Bradford before she made that spin move.
13th turnover tonight for Clemson. Tigers still applying the press. Hannah Cavender zips it over to Pendande, and Miami's into the half court.
And right now you see Miami trying to set up their offense, slow it down a bit, run some time off this clock.
Five to shoot. Cavender lobs it inside, deflected by Inyang. They have jammed her finger a little bit there, but worth the effort.
Yeah, that was a tough one-handed pass by Hannah Cavender, trying to zip it into Pendande, but a good anticipation by Inyang to get the deflection.
2 to shoot. Harden's got to pop it. She got it off, they say. But air ball, and that'll be another turnover for the Hurricanes.
She had to take the shot with the shot clock winding down. That's not her shot, but good defense by Clemson on that last possession to force Miami into a tough situation.
Bradford to Inyang at the free throw line. Robinson to tie it. Ooh, won't fall. Clemson basketball.
This crowd would have erupted if she knocked out her third 3 of this quarter. That was a nice looking shot. A lot of arc. Just couldn't fall.
She's the team's leading three-point shooter, over 35% this year. Entry into the lane, and they're going to get area vets reaching in on Whitehorn. I think Whitehorn a little out of control there.
Well, it was a tough pass. She had to sky and get the pass to save it, or it would have been a turnover for Clemson. And in the process, gets hit in the face. But you see it right here. That's a tough pass. Athletic move, making that one-handed catch. Area vets gets called for the foul.
More on target pass that time. Robinson, bounce pass across the lane. And Inyang is going to have a chance to tie it at the free throw line.
Well, this is crazy. We talked about the missed three-pointer by Robinson, but they're trying to get the three-pointer the old way. Nice pass by Robinson to her teammate. Nice two-man game between her and Inyang. Inyang able to finish at the rim. And that's the fourth foul on Pendande.
And so Pendande will head to the bench. Zaria Spearman with 3 fouls takes her place. And Eno Inyang, her first free throw of the night, ties us at 60.
And what a change between quarters. We talked about in that third quarter, Miami held Clemson to single digits. They only scored 9 in that quarter. And look at the turnaround.
Yeah, we saw the Tiger cheerleaders do a backflip. Feels like this game has done a backflip. So deadlocked at 60. Just another night in the ACC.
This game's a battle. These teams really are getting after it, and they want to get a win.
All of a sudden, that defense gets a little tighter. Hard to find that space. Hannah Cavender, her three-pointer short. Spearman on the offensive glass. And it is Miami ball.
Yeah, Spearman tried to use her athleticism, getting that offensive rebound and trying to get the ball up while she was still in the air.
Area vets, not a starter, but trusted in these late game situations, and we've got a foul before the pass. It's going to be on Eno Inyang. And with that third foul, that's the cue. Hannah Hank coming back in with 4 fouls, Fallon.
Yeah, right now we're under 3 minutes. So this game is going down to the wire. So you just have to let your players play and trust that they will not pick up another foul. And that's what Coach Butler's doing in Hank.
Inyang, good defense on Spearman, and she gets the rebound. So Whitehorns to the bench. Now Clemson has their biggest lineup in now with Inyang and Hank. Clemson hasn't led since halftime, 35-32. Miami came out on an 11-0 run to begin the third quarter. Perpignan gives off to Robinson, 7 to shoot. Robinson's been the fourth quarter star. She's tied up underneath, but it's going to be a foul called on area vets.
And that's a tough call. It was great defense by Miami. They were able to get Robinson in a tough position. She had nowhere to go with it. And you see area vets trying to get a hand on the basketball. Instead, commits the foul. And Clemson still has the possession, trying to see if they can get something set up in their out-of-bounds play.
And now Clemson will be shooting the rest of the way here in the fourth quarter. Long entry to Bradford. Miami's been in these tight games here lately. They've played 8 games by single digits this year. Lost one on Sunday against Wake Forest. 55-52, 5 seconds to shoot. Inside, Inyang, double team, off the window and in. Eno Inyang gives Clemson their first lead since the opening moments of the second half.
That was a big-time move by Inyang. Kept her composure, squared up to the basket, and was able to finish.
This is an 8-0 run. Miami hasn't scored in 3.5 minutes. Hannah Cavender passes up the 3. Area vets, top of the arc, way off to the left. Bradford, the offensive rebound. And now the Tigers can afford to kill a little clock if they choose.
But Miami doesn't need to foul. They need to continue to just play tough defense and make sure they get the defensive rebound.
Inyang goes up, no whistle, and the loose ball belongs to Miami. Hannah Cavender turns it over to Roberts. Area vet skip pass. In the lane, Pendande. Her shot, an air ball, but what a play by Jasmyne Roberts to sneak through the bottom of the lane and lay it in. We're tied, less than 60 seconds left. It's 19 points for Roberts now. Perpignan. And a timeout called by Coach Butler.
And that was a good call. Clemson was unsure what they wanted to set up on the offensive end, so now it gives Coach Butler an opportunity to draw a play up so her team can get a good shot. Under a minute in this one.
It's time for tonight's upcoming schedule, brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Miami, they've got Georgia Tech, who pulled off a big win over NC State tonight, and then a pair of ranked wins, or ranked opponents, Florida State and Duke, and then the rematch. I can promise you, Fallon, whoever ends up on the short end of the stick tonight is going to want blood in 2 weeks.
Right, and this is a battle. Like we talked about the relationship that Coach Meyer and Coach Butler have, but they just want to compete. These teams are battling, trying to see if they can move up in the standings for the ACC.
3 of the next 4 on the road for Clemson, including a trip down to South Florida there on the 16th. Coach Meyer drawing up her defense here, and that tells the whole story. It was pretty tight those first 2 quarters, but it has been a seesaw affair. Really just one C and one saw in the second half. 10 seconds to shoot. Perpignan to Bradford. How do they get the ball to Robinson? No, it's Perpignan, a 3-pointer. Too strong. Robinson, the offensive board.
And that's a no-no. You can't let that happen. It's good defense by Perpignan. She just didn't box out, and Robinson did a great job of getting that offensive board.
It's close to 20 offensive rebounds for Clemson tonight. Final 20 seconds. Tie ball game. Bradford into the lane. Hangs. Too strong. Another offensive rebound for the Tigers. And they can hold for a final shot. And Coach Butler calls timeout.
And that's been the Achilles heel for Miami all game long. The offensive rebounding of Clemson, giving them second chance opportunities, and how critical is it at this point in the game when you're tied up and you giving Clemson 3 shots at the apple to try and see if they can get another home victory.
Amari Robinson, a double-double. It has been her 4th quarter. Fallon, the 4th quarter has belonged to the Tigers as a whole. Take a look at what we've seen over the last 9+ minutes.
We talked about this pass, this kick out to Hannah Hank, but they've just been dominant. They've been able to score, distribute the basketball, find the open man, and Clemson has capitalized. They have just been running plays through their offense, and how we talked about Miami did such a good job of breaking that zone. In the 3rd quarter, Clemson has done a fantastic job of finding the holes and the gaps against Miami's man-to-man defense and scoring the basketball.
If you're Clemson, do you consider firing a shot before the buzzer because you've been so good on the glass?
You could. I mean, you might get a second chance opportunity, but I think with 11 seconds left in this game, you need to run the shot clock down or run the clock down and get the last shot.
All right, Perpignan with the basketball in her hands, cuts right into the lane, kick out, Bradford, the 3, off the mark, and a timeout called by Miami. They're going to have to review it to see how much time is on the clock. They'll put something back on there.
Because I'm not sure if the ball hit the rim. I think they're looking back to see if it possibly didn't even hit the rim before. So it would have been some time on that rebound. But Jasmyne Harden heads up play to call that timeout quickly. Not much time, but with that timeout, they should be able to advance the basketball if it's some time on the clock and maybe get a quick shot up before time expires.
As we mentioned, Miami early this season, get another look here at the clock. 3-pointer off the backboard into the hands of Harden, and she completes that timeout signal with about, what, 0.7, 0.8?
Yeah, I would say 0.7 was still on the clock.
Which is time for a catch and shoot.
It is. I mean, I think that's one great aspect about the women's game now, that they can advance the basketball with a timeout if you have timeouts left. That's why it's so critical at the end of the game like this one. And now Coach Meyer is going to try and draw up a quick play, make a decision of who she's going to get the ball to. I think it's a good shot. It might get in Roberts' hands if she can make it happen.
Yeah, there's sharpshooters entering the season. You would have said Haley and Hannah Cavender, but tonight, and especially in the last handful of games, Jasmyne Roberts has been that go-to scoring option as our officiating crew, Joseph Vasily, Teresa Stuck, Rob Creech, trying to determine how much time is going to be on the clock here.
Yeah, this is a battle. You see this crowd all hyped up. They got the
game
music
clock
playing.
is being set to 0.3 of a second.
0.3. Wow.
0.3. Wow.
I guess we're not the refs, Wiley. We saw a different clock go to timeout, but maybe it's the time when the refs saw Jasmyne Harden and acknowledged the timeout, and that was at 0.3. So this is going to be really quick for Coach Meyer to try and figure out a shot or a play.
And now it looks like Clemson may have called a timeout. Is that possible?
It may be possible. They were pointing towards Miami's direction.
Oh, no, I know. But Miami called the initial timeout.
Yeah.
It looked like Clemson was okay.
I was thinking Coach Meyer may have called the second timeout.
Oh,
but
I see what you're saying, yeah.
the way it's looking right now, and this is a critical play. Both of these coaches are trying to make sure that their team players are ready. Because whatever happens, it's going to have to be a quick release by whoever catches it from Miami. And Clemson's going to have to make sure that they defend and defend well. Get a hand up. Do not foul a jump shooter. This late in the game, I'll be shocked if the refs were to call a foul to give 2 shots to end the game like that. But the way these teams have been competing all night, you never know.
So Hannah Cavender is going to inbound. Miami will stack 4 at the 3-point arc. And now Miami has asked for a timeout, wanted to see how Clemson was going to draw it up here.
Right. A smart move by Coach Meyer. Wanted to see the setup by Clemson defensively, and she's like, nope. I mean, these coaches know each other too well. They coached together on the same staff in Charlotte some years back, and both are very capable coaches. We can see it by both of them being coaches in the ACC for solid programs and teams. But this is going down to the wire, and I think Coach Meyer wants to make sure her team is on board and understands the type of play they need to put on the court or execute in order to get a quick score to see if they can get a win on the road.
Hurricanes, they struggled early this year in close games. They lost a couple of heartbreakers, including in overtime against the Florida Gators back in December. But they've had some success recently in single-digit games. They've won 3 of their last 4. One exception, of course, being their last time out against Wake Forest.
Yeah, that was a tough game against Wake Forest. Like you said, Wake Forest has been on a run the last couple of games, beating Louisville last Thursday and then getting a solid win at home against Miami. But
different story tonight in Tallahassee for the Deacs.
Yeah.
But here we are, tie game. It'll still be Hannah Cavender inbounding, and now Miami's going to spread their 4 across the free throw line. The free throw line extended. 0.3 of a second. Miami trying to win it. Float it towards the rim. It's batted away, and we are destined for overtime. Tied at 62. Clemson and Miami, both these teams desperate for a win, and we're going to have to play an extra 5 minutes at least to decide who gets to walk out the victor. Today was 4 for Miami, and they will be facing off in the jump circle here to begin overtime.
We saw the battle in the second half, third quarter. Clemson was held to 9-point single digits in that quarter, and then they turned it around on Miami. Miami held to just 7 points in the fourth. And if you want to close out a game, you can't close it out that way. So now it's even to start this overtime to see who can battle and get this win.
Jasmyne Roberts, who was electric in the third quarter, gives it off to Haley Cavender, back to Roberts. Good ball movement from the Canes in this opening possession. 5 seconds to shoot. Haley Cavender trying to create, has to throw it up. Offensive rebound for Miami. Roberts, second chance down the well.
And that's a big-time play for Roberts. She followed that offensive rebound, able to get the shot to go in. Miami very quiet in that fourth. I'm sure they're happy to see the ball go down in the cylinder.
Roberts a game-high 21 points now. Corner 3. Whitehorn, too strong. Haley Cavender, another rebound. She's been all over the glass tonight. That's her 7th board. Tied for the team lead. Into Pendande, through her hands. Hannah Cavender, 3. Miami basketball.
And even though that was a miss, the ball rotation by Miami on that possession was solid. They really moved the ball, making Clemson's defense have to shift and make adjustments. Just couldn't knock down that 3-point shot.
Radford to the bench. Maddie Ott in for the Tigers. In the low post. Oh, Roberts thought she had it. Hannah Hank the rebound.
Yeah, she couldn't control that initial pass. Would have had an easier shot. And then instead it turns into a tough one that she misses at the basket.
Perpignan, elbow J. True.
She got that lucky bounce. Perpignan has been solid tonight for Clemson, making the right decision, making good passes to her teammates, and hitting some critical shots when they needed a bucket.
Tied at 64. Hannah Cavender across to her twin sister, Haley Roberts, wing 3. Hits the rim twice. Haley Cavender's got another rebound. She's been all over the board.
She has.
There's been plays like that.
Right, and we said she hasn't been scoring the basketball like she usually does, but has found other ways to contribute to this team, and it's been her rebounding tonight.
5 to shoot. Pendande, she's got to go up at the horn. Won't. David tries to play it off Pendande, who recovers. A dangerous pass, but it finds its way through. Past the midway point of overtime. Roberts pops a jumper. Halfway down and out. And timeout called by Miami. Boy, a never-ending possession for the Canes.
It was similar to that possession we saw in the fourth that Clemson had when it was going down to the end of the game. And Miami just making hustle plays, getting offensive rebound after offensive rebound. But that was a great showing by Miami, trying to capitalize. Now they're trying to set something up to get back in this overtime.
Leading scorer this year.
She is, and Clemson's done a great job on her, but it still hasn't stopped her from playing the game. And she's contributed with the 9 rebounds, has had some great passing or passes to her teammates. So even when you can't score, you got to find another way to contribute. And Haley Cavender has tonight.
7 seconds to shoot. Into Pendande, low block, kick out. Cavender's got to go. Lets it fly. Too strong. Amari Robinson picks up her 12th rebound of the night.
And Robinson has been solid for Clemson. Big reason they were able to make this comeback and send this game into overtime.
Bradford. She missed a 3 in the final seconds. That could have won the game for Clemson. From the top of the key, drills it.
And we talked about it with Coach Butler about some of the shots Bradford takes, but I'm sure she was happy with that one. Nice shot selection, wide open, and she's able to knock down the mid-range J.
Down goes Bradford, down to Harden. She answers for Miami. 19 points for Destiny Harden. We're tied at 66.
And we know that Destiny Harden's not going to go down without a fight. She's not going to go down quietly, and she just made her presence known with that putback.
Perpignan tries to scoop it into Robinson and a turnover. Harden's got it. And off to Hannah Cavender. Miami with 1 timeout left. Killing some clock. Harden, extra pass to Pendande underneath. Finds a way to get out from underneath the backboard, and off the glass, she gives Miami the lead.
And that's a big-time play. We talked about Pendande's play the last few games for Miami, and that's probably the biggest basket that she's had all season.
They can't give Clemson the lead. Last touched by Robinson. Miami basketball with 17 seconds left.
And that's tough. We see Pendande having to wear this mask. And a nice drop pass by Destiny Harden. She gets her positioning back, Pendande, underneath the basket, but is able to gather herself for the putback. And that's probably the biggest shot all night for Miami.
There's a review going on at the scores table. They're going to take a look and see who last touched it.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Bradford was running right into it from that camera angle.
This ought to tell us a little more, maybe. That looks
like it was
Bradford.
Robinson.
Robinson. I'm sorry, Robinson.
See it closely here. Pendande gets the box out. Ooh, it's so close from that angle. Robinson trying to go over her back. These players are battling to see if they can get the possession. Bradford just misses it, but it's tough to tell.
Well, I think from that low camera on the baseline, it looks like Robinson. Maybe if you see something from the camera behind the backboard over the top, maybe Pendande had a finger there, but I'd have to see it again, and really don't feel comfortable saying it was convincing.
Right, and I don't see it being so convincing that the refs changed the call. Yeah.
Well, Clemson's got some work to do, too, from a fouling standpoint. Only 2 in the fourth quarter and overtime, so they're not going to be able to put Miami immediately on the line.
Well, I know
Joseph Vasily taking a long look at it here at the scores table.
Yeah, they want to get it right, and as a coach, you want to make sure they get it right, but
added 0.2 of a second, but it is Miami basketball. He doesn't like it.
Of course they don't. We're at Clemson, Wiley.
I don't know. That guy seems to like it.
He throw it up to you.
All right, so this would be a spot throw-in as well. So Miami cannot run the baseline here. Clemson's got some length on the floor, and Michaela Elmore, Hannah Hank, Amari Robinson. And it's going to be Hannah Cavender to inbound it. Being reminded she cannot move her feet. Elmore trying to disrupt. They get it into Haley Cavender, and the foul is on Perpignan.
And what better player to get the ball into, especially, but like you said earlier, Clemson had a couple more fouls that they needed to commit before Miami would go to the free throw line for 2 shots in the bonus.
That's pretty good, though. You only took 0.7 of a second off the clock. Here comes Ruby Whitehorn. I think that makes sense with Hank having 4 fouls. A little dangerous to have her on the floor.
Right, some offense to defense, substitutions by Coach Butler.
This time it's into Roberts. Over to Pendande with some space to run. Harden trying to kill some clock. And Robinson called for the foul. That's her 3rd, and now the next foul will put Miami at the line, but that shoot up over 5 seconds.
Yeah, that was a lot of time. It was a great job by Pendande to dribble the ball up and find Harden. And Harden was quickly dribbling that ball, trying to chase or get away from the defenders from Clemson.
So Clemson calls timeout, 11.2 seconds on the clock. For what it's worth, Miami is 8 of 12 at the free throw line tonight, but neither Cavender has gone to the free throw line. Harden's had just 1 free throw, so a lot of the players that are on the floor for Miami in that last sequence haven't been to the free throw line a whole lot tonight.
But if they do go for Miami, Harden is solid from the free throw line, and we know what Cavender can do. Haley Cavender shooting over 90%, around 92, 93%. Second in the ACC with her free throw shooting. So I know that's the person that Clemson does not want to foul. But Miami has a couple solid shooters on the floor that can knock down free throws if they have to go to the line.
It's been 9 years since Clemson last got a win over Miami on their own floor. Miami's won 5 straight in this building. Hannah Cavender trying to inbound, looking for her sister. And Coach Meyer wanted a timeout. That's Miami's final.
I mean, you got to take it. You don't want to get a 5-second call and then give Clemson an easy opportunity on their own end with 11 seconds. It's a lot of time.
Both these teams just so desperate for a win, fouling. Miami, they're just on the favorable side of the bubble, according to Charlie Cream, among the final 8 teams in. Clemson, meanwhile, a lot of work to do in their conference record. They're 4-7 in the ACC. They've got to improve that conference record, and Clemson's got to find some way to either turn Miami over or hope the Canes miss a couple of free throws.
They do. And you know Clemson's going to come out defensively, trying to get a steal, some type of deflection that may give them an opportunity to have a loose ball. But either way, if it's out there and Miami gets it, they have to commit a foul quickly and make Miami earn it from the free throw line.
So Hannah Cavender will inbound. Elmore trying to disrupt her. Into Haley Cavender. The extra pass, and there's the foul on Perpignan. And it's going to be Jasmyne Roberts going to the line.
That was pretty crazy. As soon as Haley Cavender got it, Clemson didn't want to touch her. And then she makes the quick pass. And then you see immediately they tackle Roberts to get the foul with some time left on the clock. Heads up play by Clemson.
Roberts 2 for 4 tonight, 75% on the year. Misses the first one, and the window will be open. How far will it be open?
Either way, right now she makes this one. It's still a 1-possession game, and Clemson will have an opportunity at it.
Missed them both, and the rebound belongs to Miami. Clemson couldn't receive the rebound.
That's huge. 2 Clemson players right there. I believe it was Robinson and Hank. Roberts doesn't hit either free throw. It was Hank and Bradford, and Destiny Harden in the mix, causing some chaos and confusion, getting a hand on that ball. That's a close one. The rest might have to review that one too.
Oh, they're already taking a look at it. Joseph Vasili and Rob Creech examining the tape. If you're joining us late, Clemson had a 7-point lead midway through the second quarter. They were kind of pulling away. Miami with a bit of a flurry at the end of the first half to get it close. Canes trailed by 3. They went on an 11-0 run to start the second half and led by 11 at the break, or rather in between the third and the fourth quarter. And then in overtime, after Clemson's furious rally, here's what we've seen so far.
We've just seen a battle. That was a good shot by Roberts. Nice pass to Harden to get the bucket inside. And Miami, they've just done a great job trying to find scores within their offense. I think this was the biggest shot of the game by Pendande, resetting herself to make that play to give Miami this 2-point lead. But that was a critical possession by Clemson. Had an opportunity to get the defensive rebound after Roberts misses both free throws and can't capitalize. And now looking at having to defend Miami another time and commit a quick foul to see if they can still have a chance or a shot at this one.
Remains Miami ball. 7.5 seconds.
So they've not changed the call. Still Miami basketball. Now Miami does not have a timeout here, so if they have any trouble getting the ball in, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Cavender tries to get it in, and Hank deflects it out of bounds. Half a second off the clock.
Yeah, Miami's going to have to be move and be intentional. Get open. Show your numbers. So Hannah Cavender has somebody or has a player to make the pass to.
Cavender deflected once more. That time by Bradford. And at what point does Clemson say, well, we got to let them get the ball in. We can't just keep chewing up this clock. It's already a second has gone off.
Right.
Still trying to get the steal. Into Pendande, nearly lost her balance. And a foul called. And it's going to be on Elmore and on Pendande. Second personal foul on Elmore. Pendande, she's a 70% shooter at the free throw line. She is 4 of 6 tonight.
That was close. Ooh, that was close. And they missed that travel call. She moved her feet, trying to get out of that double team.
Pendande to make it a 2-possession game. Missed it. Rebound. Clemson timeout. And with 1.1 seconds on the clock at the moment, and Michael, take a look at that. Clemson calls its final timeout. Fallon, it's been some kind of drama here.
This has been a game that's come down to the wire. Big critical play. Pendande, we saw that. That was a missed call by the ref. She traveled, trying to get out of that double team. Fortunately, they called the foul, and she was able to knock down one free throw. But we see here now Coach Butler trying to get her shooters in with the timeout. She has an opportunity to advance the basketball. And it's only 1 second left that we see on the clock right now. May put a couple more ticks on there to give Clemson a little bit more time to get a shot off. But whatever they do in trying to inbound the basketball, it's going to have to be a quick shot to see if they can tie this game and send it to another overtime.
Clemson has 5 players tonight who have each hit a three-pointer. As a team, they are in the bottom third of the ACC in three-point shooting. But like you said, this is going to have to be close to a catch and shoot. And I suppose you have time for one dribble.
Yeah.
Maybe, and even that's kind of risky,
yeah,
right?
No, I think it's going to have to be a catch and shoot situation. You'll have time to set your feet and get set so you don't have to take an awkward shot. But it's definitely going to have to be a catch and shoot situation.
So with that in mind, who do you go to on the floor? Hannah Hanks, probably the biggest target you have.
She is the biggest target that you have. But I know that, I believe, I just checked into the game. She's a shooter and capable. We saw her at warm-ups. That's all she was doing was catching and shooting or taking that one dribble, trying to receive the pass and get a quick shot off. So they're going to be looking for the shooters. Robinson hit some big threes in the fourth quarter. We saw her knock down at least 3 in that fourth quarter.
So they will add a 1/10 of a second to the clock. So 1.2. Nunu Bradford took the 3 to try and win the game in the final couple of seconds. Amari Robinson, 17 points. She's 2 for 3 from distance tonight.
Hannah Hanks capable of knocking down threes.
You know, too little time to try and foul if you're Miami.
Why not?
I mean, you risk fouling them shooting a 3, I suppose, and get 3 free throws. All right, Lazaria Spearman will guard the inbound. Bradford, the trigger man, to Robinson, fires. No call. They say Roberts went straight up, and Miami wins it. 69-66 in overtime. The Canes pick up their 7th ACC win of the season. Fallon, take one more look here. What do we see in the final seconds?
Well, that was just good defense by Miami, but you see the play was ran for Robinson.